This is a clip from the Red Cow Arcade podcast.
On the topic of Fat Todd, did you notice in,
Fat Damon, they called them Fat Damon.
Yes.
the first couple of shots of him
Meth Damon
in
was
that
the
movie?
Meth
The, the way they shoot him at first, it's like they introduce him through like doors or like cracks in floorboards and things
To
like
try
that.
to hide the fat?
Yeah,
But then they show it. They show it so
bring him
much.
out. Yeah.
EJ used to have to shoot me like that.
Or it's like in Rogue One where like Grand Moff Tarkin or whatever, he's in the reflection. I'm like, oh, that's a elegant way to. Oh no! Then they turn around and he's there. He's like a waxy figure.
Well, you're hiding the plans. Yeah, this is really weird.
It's so strange that because they don't they use the actor's eyes? It's his eyes under the face or something.
On Fat Damon.
Yeah.
In Rogue One, Grand Moff. I think it's just a CGI creation, right?
Yeah, they made a CG face using reference. So they didn't do a deep fake. They didn't do.
Yeah, no, they had the facial mold from Top Secret.
Right. Yes, we watched the same special feature. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was. I thought that was really cool. It's just that it didn't work at all.
it works if you don't like and haven't seen Star Wars.
It took too many failed. It took too many failed deep fakes before they were like, shouldn't we just have the YouTube guy do the deep fakes? He always one ups us. Do you think that the Carrie Fisher one at the end of Rogue One when she's like, hope?
Her eyes wobbling around.
If you had never seen Star Wars, you think that you'd be like, oh yeah, that's a human.
There's some kind of it's you know, I mean, like I don't know, it's like when you're editing and like you've got a mask over something,
Yeah,
and you're trying to match it to a moving shot, and then you just kind of go, fuck it, that's good enough.
yeah. You're like,
Except
I forgot
it was
what
in a
people
Star
look
Wars
like.
movie. Yeah.
You forget what people look like entirely.
Yeah, but then you watch Rise of Skywalker, and there's that duel at the end where she looks somehow even worse. I don't know how they did that.
I am impressed that they did that they took like the footage from Force Awakens and they Darth Chef'd her.
I was so-
Hello there, children. Hey, everybody.
I feel darkness.
That was kind of impressive. There was like a whole special feature that they stuck her in some, some hellish 3D environment. And they're like, we can do anything with her. Look at this. Stick her anywhere. She's alive again. She just can only say like 5 or 6 things.
From the Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And even then, those line readings.
Bring my son back, Han. Han, bring my son back. Doesn't sound anything like she used to. Somebody's gonna have to save our skins. Bring my son back.
It's the Darth Chefness. It's very that first scene with Rey.
Yeah,
it's like Randy, where it's like, so you've decided you can stay in the Super Adventure Club, but you can be here with your friends who you love dearly. Yes.
I told you to use the Force. It's weird. It's like a clip right in the middle of it.
And then they do their absolute best to distract you from it by just getting Ian McDermott back inexplicably.
Yeah, and I thought he would be, even if it made no goddamn sense, I thought he'd be a welcome addition to any Star Wars film and be like, even if it makes no sense, come on in. You're always a delight, but somehow it didn't work. Like I wasn't even enjoying it on a kind of ironic hipsterish level.
No.
Oh,
No, it's not. It feels bad. It feels.
I had a really good time with that film because I watched it. I watched it just with my eyes wide open, and then I left the cinema, got in the car, and just laughed for about 5 minutes and came home. I don't know how that happened. That shouldn't have happened. Did someone call George Lucas and say, should we do this at the end of our Star Wars movie?
I think it was like I think things are moving too fast. They just like they had more money than sense. They had a schedule and they were going to go with this other treatment, and then they canned it and they're like, no big deal. JJ always shits gold. Go for it, JJ. And he was like, the Emperor. And and I remember he even said in interviews, he was like, and I'm really, you know what I'm going to do, guys? Obviously Red Letter Media popularized the thing about like, I just said, fuck it, and did crazy shit. And he sure did. But I remember he was like, I've been criticized for not being able to end things very well. So I'm going to fix that on this film. I'm going to end the Star Wars saga nicely. It was like, you made something that is considerably worse than Attack of the Clones. Like, I remember people at first, they would like in like the first month when it came out, they do the rankings. They'd be like, well, Rise of Skywalker is one of the worst ones, actually. I was like, no, it's the worst one by now in the fullness of time, 3 years later, it's like, it's the worst one by miles.
Yeah, it's to the point where nobody even wants to touch sequel trilogy stuff.
It's got that Moon Knight quietness around it.
It's like Disney doesn't even want to like try to rationalize, like they're rationalizing things in the prequels and trying to make them better. Like the sequels, it's like they're not even attempting it right now.
They're gonna spend years, decades. They're gonna write comics. They're gonna make video games. They're gonna do a lot of things to someday make that movie fit into the picture somehow. They're going to back their asses all the way up to that movie.
It's just surround it with Filoni baloney, like rings of Filoni baloney, like a planet around it.
He's somehow going to be like, we can make it work. We can make this work. We just have to, Grogu is going to pave a path all the way to Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. Ahsoka is going to be the one behind it all, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what they're going to do. And then someday some fan will get to be nostalgic about Rise of Skywalker and say, see, they made it all work. There was a master plan at work, just like George Lucas said.
Yeah. Thrawn was hiding in the background the whole time.
Yeah. Can I say something? Did you guys watch Battlestar Galactica in the 2000s?
Yeah.
That was kind of a cool show, but it I don't know. I didn't think it ended very, very well, but there were definitely cool elements to it. It was one of those, like, I guess it came out like the mid 2000s, and it was one of the first where people are like, are you seeing this Battlestar Galactica reboot? It's very interesting. I remember they came out with a straight to DVD movie that was like between seasons 4 and 5 or something. It took place, and it like, I think it was, I don't remember what it was called, but it was from the Cylon's point of view. That was the gimmick.
I don't even think I saw that.
And they were like, the whole movie is, did you know that during this scene, there was a Cylon right there? And, and they keep cutting to this like goofy, I remember they'll cut to like a cheap version of the set from that episode that was shot 2 years ago. And there's like a Cylon there, or there's one scene in particular where they added like a sight on a gun, and that was the way they were able to show a different angle from that scene. As the cheapest effect. Every time I think of like trying to hamstring a character into a pre-existing property, I think of that Cylon DVD movie that nobody watched.
And now they can just Photoshop Thrawn behind Princess Leia the whole time.
Yeah, he's like in that crazy 3D environment with her. They're swirling around. Lizard guy.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.